in overtime. Perhaps they did like the whole first part of the game.
Yeah, two players over towards short. They have got that bomb down. Chrome are going to go ahead and pick this up, and he's been the star for Dignitas in these last couple of rounds. As they look now to hightail it out towards a bomb plant going to come in. Jacob playing the close angle, looking to try and mop up these two force ball players. They peek on out, gets the first, goes for the transfer. Godby going to get caught in the firing line. Does find the frag, but still got three more left to do. And player up in window from behind is Tensky. 21-18 for Dignitas. They need one solitary round on their CT side to win this out. Big, they have to go flawless if they want to take us through to a triple OT.
And on the T side to do it, which to be fair, both teams were better on. At least have a better history in this game on. So Kiev, AWP, Godby. Yeah, I was going to say, I've never seen him be a secondary opera. I can't imagine him picking one up now, but onto the AK he goes. And is mid going to be the game? It looks like so, because they've already set the smokes out toward Catwalk.
They're actually going to be throwing those down. Only Tapson heading in towards middle. The rest of the guys pushing it towards B. Fox is here.
This is actually all right. So instead of throwing just the catwalk smoke, they add a second one in window, which means immediately they have to rotate off of it, and it leaves Fox as the only one in mid. So now he's overcommitted to catwalk, and they know they beat them inside B last time. Another fast rush down. This is really good calling, actually, from Big. This is exactly the way to beat the setup, and they do it with an additional smoke in mid that's going to completely hinder them.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Tensky and Chrome and all that remain, and the only choice in this scenario is to save. The only way to win this round is not to play. As Tensky and Croman look to try and hold on to their rifles. Does stop that CT side economy from taking so much damage if they both survive. But as you said, yeah, I mean, fantastic round there from Big. Really nice call. I mean, having Tapson as well up towards short was a nice way to help split in towards the site and catch the guys unaware. The fast play caught them off guard. And we've seen that happen a couple of times now. They use that to their advantage. It will be a 19th for Big. They start the long, perilous road back to a third overtime by picking up the first in this second half. 19-21, still two more rounds they have to try and win. And the two rifles saved up there are going to help bolster that CT side economy, making it a hell of a lot harder for them to break.
I want to see if they change anything on that. Fox has done well to go catwalk every time, but you can easily switch that with a rifle. And if they're going to keep rushing B, just switch Fox to Van. Maybe let him play sort of a passive-aggressive angle to see in toward Checker, because as soon as they lose the B player and he's on Cat with an op, especially with no mid controls they had last round, there's nothing he can do. Absolutely nothing. He's not fast enough to hit shots and turn around and then pull a pistol of all things, because they're going to be on his heels. It's just impossible. So I think the change I would make is probably throw Fox toward the B apartment and let Rubino get more aggressive. This time he's got an A spawn, so he's going to go over toward A, which is fair enough. They'll change it up and let Rubino cover it off. But again, they're already putting pressure onto the B apartments. Legia and Godby. Swing to underpass, though. Slight difference in that they want to get aggressive. Good trade from Jacob, but Tabson did still manage to get damage done, which will thin them out. Jacob's going to hold top middle, though. So Croman watching underpass is fine, because they can back Fox off of mid with Jacob's positioning. In fact, Croman's confident enough that he'll give up and go to jungle. Jacob's going to flank this as well. Bombs at A, so his flank could be decent if it's fast enough, because if Croman goes down to the two players from underpass, his back's turned. He's a sitting duck. That's huge, because now they have the confidence to take the site. Jacob's too far removed. Fox is the only line of defense.
Yeah, he's able to go in and take the first. Still more left to find the bomb. Has started to make its way out, but it's been slowed down by Fox's presence. And this is crucial for the flank coming in from Jacob, allowing him to get so close. He's hot on their heels as now the bomb looks to try and come in, but it hasn't even left ramp yet. This is going to allow Jacob just to come on through and pick up a multitude of frags. Most importantly, that bomb planter gets the first. Next up to trade that out. Was expecting a little bit more in that scenario, as now it falls into the 2-on-2. Bomb plant looking to come in. Next having some trouble locating. He does get the bomb down. Godby in connector, primed and ready for the after plant. Down goes next. Now it's just Godby 1v2. His team need him to step up here. Rubino and Fox do go ahead and grab the site. He's just going to bide his time. Opt to wait this one down. They tap out the defuse. Waiting to see where he peeks from. They haven't spotted him yet.
Balls of steel from Godby. This is twice he's been in a 1v2 where he hasn't peeked it, and he knows they've tapped it this time. Knows they're likely to hold it. Fox too close on the AWP, and Godby What a clutch back! They had no idea that he was there, and absolute nerves of steel. If they'd held it on the first time, round was done as he pops back out. And credit to Fox. He's playing an absolutely great game, I have to say. Even with the struggles, some of the mismatches they've had on sort of rotations and calls to counter off, especially B pushes, he hit a shot that was absolutely a must-win after they lost out in middle. So the fact that he hits that slows them down. Jacob was way, way too far away to capitalize on the rotation. Now, unfortunately, he only got one other aspect of it. But Fox was smart enough to not only hit the first shot, but back off as a result of it.
Double up setup,
man, that's just awesome.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I mean, that was sensational. Jacob, first casualty as Tabson goes in swinging. Okay, Tabson, what the hell was that? Gets himself 3. Wants to just carry this one through to triple OT as fast as he can, as now it's all Croman and Rubino. 2v4. Rubino even just with a CZ. Dropping out towards mid, desperately trying to scavenge a rifle if he can. Bomb is going to be going down at this point. Looks like triple OT is well and truly in our midst. They lose Rubino, leaving this all on Croman. Now, he's been the star player for Dignitas, but this is a tall order for anyone. Bomb planted, 1v4. Does have the kit, finds one, but got B to trade things out. Triple OT.
Yeah, here we go again. Another fast rush down toward B, so Big definitely exploited that. Definitely a weakness Dignitas have to change up. More dynamic with the AWP is one way to certainly do it, because Fox has been going to catwalk a lot, aside from when he had the A spawn. It's the only time we've seen them switch it up is when he has a very clear indicative A spawn that he's going toward, and this time... Or is he backside? So he's going to go B. Or is he? Okay, fair enough. First time we've seen him in window for a while. They haven't really smoked this time. They don't. But Godby hits him with an AK. What a shot again as Fox can't land it. That's going to open up so much in middle. And as a result, they've given up B entirely. At least for now, Jacob's reconsidering that decision, which is probably apt, although unfortunate for him. It's A that they're going to go.
Yeah, charging on in. Croman is going to be the last line of defense. They want to find him with the first. Still alive and kicking. They haven't had to deal with him just yet, and it's bought so much time for Dignitas to rotate players around. Dabson on the flank could be the difference maker, but not if Tensky has anything to say about it. Got B. Apparent clutch king. Able to find the first. Oh, got B with the third. Going to be dealt with there by Jacob. By Rubino, sorry.
Godby's, yeah, this is some best shots we've seen from him opening that up, but I have to give credit to Tensky to save that round because Croman made a really interesting decision that I've been critical of him in this A side. I think he lacks what I would call a survival instinct and understanding when to get out. So he plays reverse firebox, which is more of a position you play to get an element of surprise. Once you're found there, especially if they get past Tetris, you have nowhere to go. A mid-site smoke by chance, because they were looking for a fast plant, came through, which gave him a chance to back to ticket booth. He stayed in the site. He was absolutely dead, and Tensky, if he hadn't gotten those kills, absolutely saved him by getting them. So Croman's got to be a little more efficient, I think, especially if they're going to put so much pressure on mid and leave him in A. It's been a few times he's been caught off by that.
Yeah, I mean, he is one of the newer players on this roster. I mean, definitely the newest player on the roster in the sense of his experience, and that is kind of telling in that regard. But double up set up now for Dignitas. Rubino and Fox.
This is exactly the angle that I would have said Fox needed to play, especially if they're going to rush into B. So if they're not going to put Fox there, Rubino's the in-game leader. He's going to call that he wants to do it. I agree with that. This is decent. Problem is, again, if it comes to a retake situation, they're going to be struggling. Good shot from Fox, because he nearly got cut off by Tabson.
And yeah, well, yeah. Throws out that smoke. Let's go ahead and help out his teammates with this push in through mid. It's got B sneaking on by Bomb. And Kiev over towards ramp. Like, yeah, still just preventing these players on B from rotating off. Does mean it's going to be the 3-on-3 in this A-bomb. So a bit of a brawl to try and get things done for Big in this round. They're looking to try and push on in. Fox on the site with the AWP has to step up. It's Croman to get it back, and Kiev goes down as well. Fox making this one difficult. He's been tagged within inches of death, but he just keeps on giving. Gets himself a second. And now it's all on Legia, the lone player who was over towards B, trapped in a 1v5. No time left, and just going to have to elect to fall back and save. Cannot go down after the time. Mustn't fall after the time. And Tensky, luckily enough, doing him a big favor there in a way.
Keep moving the ops, boys. Keep moving them around. Fox is getting in better positions now that they haven't seen for a long time. I'm going to make the call. The money as it is. Losing 2 in a row again. Big actually won this round last time. After getting a sweep, they pulled it back. But with money as it is... okay. This is why Henry's better at making calls than me. I was going to say this is the rush B, where Rubino's ready for it this time with the second up. But they're going to go A instead. Fox middle can rotate over, but Croman's going to play aggressive against UMPs and one Tech 9. Risky as he gets back in shadow all the way to reverse fire. They're in the site. This is where he's exactly that, dead. As soon as you get spotted in reverse fire, if they get to Tetris, you're done. And it's exactly the case. Tensky this time's only able to get one. So site's open, but not entirely safe because Kiev has a bomb, but no smoke towards CT. That's only landing now. So he's got to wait before he can plant, which allows all the CT players to get closer to the site.
Yeah, and in this scenario, Dignitas have actually got everyone around. Plenty of time bought. The bomb only just now going down. It could be prevented by Jacob, who does speak on out, prevents the bomb plant and takes a second. Something he never should have got away with. It all falls onto Tabson in the 1v3. Big. They'd made this competitive, and now it could slip through their fingers. Bomb down in the middle of the site. Minute left. Jacob spied out in CT, but Tabson tagged. No one from Dignitas peeking into this. Don't want to risk giving anything away. Especially not to Tabson. Actually, the peek from Fox is going to go down. Tabson tries to flick out on a Jacob, but Jacob gets the trade. 24-21. Dignitas once again. They go ahead and get all 3. They only need 1 now on their T side.
This is still map 1, remember? In case you're joining us. Best of 3, so they're definitely going the distance. Dignitas, now or never, boys. Double op's going to be brought up again. Agia and Kiev. How risky does Big want to get? Risk reward, catch them off, get control of the situation early. Fox is on his AWP as well, full utility. Obviously they'll buy up in overtime, but 3 kits out for the CTs. Kiev mid up with no drop down. Gobby's going to wait inside of the site to hold off. More aggressive in the open to give a sight to A main. The more information you can get there early, the more confident he can be to pass it off. But Jacob's already opened up on the the first op's down.
Tabson could be the one to make all the difference, pushing in through lower tunnels. 3 players for Dignitas out in mid, but if he finds an equalizer onto someone like Tensky, who is up in apps right now, could be the opportunity they needed to close this gap. We'll spot him out. He's here alone, but he's looking to play this one safe. If Tensky pivots around, no. Going to be put down. 2 in the back of the skull, all that takes. As now we're all equal. Mid control going the way of Dignitas. Next is up on short. He has got a player within the site, but actually, I was worried. Tabson looking like he was going to rotate off then. Next goes down on short. Got B next man to fall in Dignitas. They've got a 2-man advantage. Tabson and Kiev, all that remains, 2 of the star players for Big to try and keep them in this one. Bomb. Up in apartments. Looking like the wrong call's going to be made here as Tabson slowly but surely peeling on off. Looking to try and rejoin Kiev out here on A. Will pit them in a 2v4 retake.
This is it. Kiev on a retake AWP with Tabson out of the site. He did well to push back through and get information, but they read it like a book and go down middle. He's been exceptional. Better now than ever. Gets the first spots up, but tries and can't swing. It's Kroman that's going to win it off instead, and it's all on Kiev. Jumps through, desperate. And he can't hit the first shot. Kroman closes it. Dignitas sweeping 4, but it took them 3 overtimes to do so.
Yeah, that to me just kind of cements the fact that we're going to be going the distance here. 25-21 win for Dignitas in map 1 of this best of 3 series. Of course, I mean, there's all to play for, right? The winner, they're going to get their spot in the major qualifier, which is the reason why all these teams are here. That's what they're trying to compete for. The prize money at the end, that's a nice bonus, but that main thing you're looking for is your shot to make it through to the major. And I think, what we just saw there from Dignitas was promising stuff. I honestly thought that Big would have been the more well-oiled unit. And don't get me wrong, I think the team play was something that really tried to carry them through. I just think Dignitas, they're impressive there. You could tell that they like Mirage.
Definitely like Mirage. They seemed a lot more comfortable, especially on the T side. They had really good mid-control and trying to get the early picks. The problem was their CT side, they lost a lot. And when they adapted, it was eventually figured out. Just the bigger issue was that it took Big too long to realize they could exploit B in the same way. The good thing for Big, I would have thought if they won this, they win it too, because we go to overtime, and we know Dignitas has had some very serious issues. They won yesterday on it, but it was a pretty poor, in fact, one of the worst CT sides I've seen, I think, 100%, structurally, from a team. So hopefully they've adjusted that, because this could easily go 3 maps and go back to cash, and then I'm not sure where I go. I think I still favor big on that one. We'll see what the panel thinks right now.
Thanks very much, Matt. Yeah, and we will, of course, come back to you for game number 2. What a long game that one was. Triple overtime, first triple overtime we've had in the minors this season, and eventually won out by Dignitas after getting 6 map points during that one. Big themselves had 2 match points as well, 2 map points, and weren't able to convert them. So let's find out what Henry and Duncan found in that particular game. Where do you start in this one? I mean, how do you dissect
triple
this?
overtime, that's like a separate game
It
itself.
is, isn't
Really.
it,
The
right?
mind games
Yeah.
really change up, and the pace of the game
started with
change.
big, right?
Absolutely, they look much better at the start. It seems like the CT sides for Dignitas generally aren't that great. It's when they're on the T side they actually look very good. I have to say, they kick things off. They got very comfortable there. They've lost a pistol, but they ran away with it when they got the guns out. They were looking confident within themselves, and this is the initial sectors, as you can see. We've got that 3-0 for big, and I don't know, Dignitas, when they're on T sides and they can just use their firepower, nice and quick, lots of A splits, lots of mid control coming in. The thing is with Mirage, it's got to the point now where every team is pretty much playing it the same way, right? Yeah. You might not have the full smoke executions down, but at least you can go for the basic objective every single time. They seem to have a great understanding of that. It's their CT side is when they kind of struggled a little bit, and that's when they found themselves coming into the end here. That's a nice reaction. Fox in the camera.
That was kind of the reaction I had when I saw it. I was like, oh!
Yeah.
And he did exactly the same thing straight after. I mean, it was a tough game for both teams in many ways, Duncan, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it looked like Big had it in the palm of their hands the whole way. You know, like you said, they got to match
14,
points.
14-11
yeah,
right now.
but then this man here, I mean, you heard the other day when his in-game leader, Rubino, they called him Jakeem.
Jakeem.
Yeah, Jakeem. He was playing like Steve McJaqueem because he fired that bullet, and they did pull off the Great Escape.
I like that. Double movie reference
Wasn't
in
bad.
there. Yeah, it wasn't bad. Like that one. 5 out of 7. Yeah, I mean, it's just...
And in the end, Kievan cost the game.
Hey,
Oh, that's better.
That's not bad.
That's,
Go
I
back
like that one.
inside.
That one's a good one.
We'll come back.
And then we go to overtime. So here we are in overtime. And the bizarre thing that happened in here, Henry, was that
Yes, go on.
they end up going through this first set of overtime. Yeah, they trade rounds. And then they move into the second set of overtime. And bizarrely, Dignitas then suddenly become the world's best Team Mirage team of all time. They win 3 in a row and you think, well, that's that then. That's that. And then suddenly Big are brilliant on T side.
I think what Ducker said, it's like a different game at that point. The CTs are trying to mix things up, throw Spanner into the works, get aggressive at the start. We saw lots of that from the CT side of Dignitas. They're trying to just get that first pick with the tongue every time. How can I talk when that's going on the screen? The thing is that you're trying to find that one round on the CT side, right? But that can be some of the hardest. He's got some great reactions.
Tell you what, his girlfriend's
I
a
love
lucky
Fox.
fucking woman.
I love Fox.
He's back.
Good with his hands, and
When you've got the 3-0, right, it can be one of the hardest things to close out, especially for a new team as well. You're just trying to find that one round. You're like, let's go aggressive here. And if you're on the CT side, right, you buy double orbs, you get the single orb out, you win that first round in overtime on the CT side, then the money starts getting dwindled. It's basically 2 rounds you've got to do it, otherwise you're going the pistols in the third. And Dignitas struggling on their CT side. It's understandable what that happens in overtime, but their T side looked pretty good throughout, and they managed to close things there. I guess we're looking for like kind of the most star performances there from the Dignitas side. Fox, once again, he keeps delivering in this tournament. I'm so surprised at the consistency he's got every single map. He doesn't seem to be dropping off right now.
and obviously, by the way, this was Dignitas' map pick, but Big was in such great position. This is a very good map for them as well. They felt like they were going to take this one, whereas actually this was the one map where online the Dignitas guys had been looking fantastic. Like they were losing to like Astralis. That's it. There weren't really many people who were taking them. So I have to say, obviously it's going to depend who ends up winning this series, but it feels like this is what it's going to hinge on, like this one right here, because really both teams at times deserved to win it, at times had it won, seemingly, and it's too close when it gess to that point in time. No one can really feel like they played the perfect game.
Yeah, indeed. We're going to take a look at the MVP, which is Jakeem, in Rubino's words, with 39 for 33. Obviously, we did have 46 rounds, 10 assists, 7 retakes in here, no clutches, 10 trade kills for an ADR of 94.3. Whilst that's great, and Jacob had a great game, I do want to shout out to Tabs. 45 kills in this game in 46 rounds, and on the losing side. How the hell are you going to do any more?
Well, the thing is, there was a dramatic drop-off in that team as well. We had Legia, who looked incredibly poor throughout. Like he was,
and then switched to an AWP, which didn't look good on either.
He used to be the secondary AWP of the NRG team, and he actually was the primary AWP of them at one point as well. So it's understandable going to the secondary AWP, he'll bring it out at one point. But yeah, he looked poor throughout, maybe even worse with the AWP as well. Lots of big misses as well. Players weren't even looking at him, but he did win that clutch that kind of got them back into the game. So peaks and troughs.
Is that what they call his wife? His big misses. So,
You are on fire today, aren't you? What did you drink this morning on the way in?
G&T.
Yeah, G&T,
probably. Yeah, had a bit of
Can't
G&T
get
on the
enough of
side.
that.
Yeah.
Keeps me up all night.
So, 1-0
Yeah.
to Dignitas right now.
Yes, that is the score.
Can Big come back? They've got their map to look forward
Yeah,
to.
that's the thing. For me, Big was doing really well on that map. That's a very good map for them. But that was they were trying to steal away Dignitas'
They
Big,
were,
and I
weren't
feel
they?
like it was big. Like I feel like Dignitas had to win that one actually. So.
Right.
As much as it's a heartbreaker to lose like that for Big, the key for them is all the maps in this series are good for them. So if they really are a top-level team, they did play pretty good T-sides.
Yeah.
They have to know that actually, in theory, it gets easier from here. Like, Dignitas aren't going to be as good on the other maps. I mean, at some point, one of them's Inferno, so you have to feel like... I still think they're on course to be able to take this one.
Okay, Henry, in the way that Big have approached that first game, obviously, as Duncan put it quite nicely, they wanted to steal that one away. That hasn't quite worked out. They're not going to be mentally jarred by that, are they? Because although it was triple overtime, they will feel a bit hard done by. They would also then reset surely and go, no, we've still got two very good maps for us.
Absolutely. You get 10 minutes after the map just to work out, okay, yeah, we had the lead. It wasn't our map pick. If we get that, amazing. We probably just tie the series up right here, right now. We'll carry that on. But you always think to yourself, first map goes by, that's not the end of the world. Going through, though, I'm actually thinking Dignitas might be able to do this on Inferno. You know?
Oh, okay, he switched it up.
Okay.
I'm just saying because they know...
Do you like that resilience that they've just shown in that?
I think-
Because bear in mind, they were on the verge of losing this match. They were 14-11 down, then they were match point for twice. They saved both of those with a mishmash of guns, and then even came back in overtime. But that shows a lot of resilience for a team.
For me, it's their CT sides that have been poor. And after
Yeah.
listening, we kind of waited for them outside of the taxis yesterday. They know they've got so many things to address in their CT side of Inferno. I think they're happy to play it again today. They can kind of look at those issues and hopefully fix them going into this game. Those CT issues are, in Counter-Strike, the easiest issues to fix, right? It doesn't down to timings, it's down to general setups and how you react to certain things. So I think if they can sort that out today, I think they did some research on that last night. They've got the coach here as well. Hopefully he's addressed those issues. And after seeing that performance, I think they can do. I think the 2-0 is
I mean, both of you have been very critical of the T sides that we've seen over the last 3 days. Has been an issue, hasn't it?
this whole tournament,
For a lot of
In
teams,
different
T
ways,
sides have
though.
been very
Yeah.
difficult because you've got to be a bit more strategic, and we haven't seen that. These guys don't have that problem. They are winning T rounds, even if
sure,
they are
yeah.
a bit weird sometimes with some of the strategy. It's working for them. So surely, as Henry pointed out, fix a few of these CT issues, and maybe that's the difference.
Yeah, but that's one of the problems for me. It's like, first of all, like this is arguably their best map, and they've narrowly come through on this one. So
Yeah.
I feel like as you go deeper in the map pool, as we saw, it gets a bit ropey for Dignitas.
Yeah.
So you have your questions there, even about the T side. And then on CT side, I mean, they haven't played together very long. They haven't got established
It's a
relationships,
mess.
really, you know. So that, unlike almost every other team, even when you make a roster move, you still keep a core together. You still have people where you know what site they play. I mean, this is an example of where you bang 5 players in there. You don't even necessarily know that someone plays a site. You might have to just start learning from scratch. So you really are doing a total rehaul now. Yeah, maybe if you qualify from here and you get to the qualifier, maybe that's time to work it. I don't think you've got time to turn it around this tournament, though.
Okay, all right. As you can see, players are just headed back to their chairs right now, so we'll dip into our social media goodie bag and pull out a couple of stonking questions for the boys on the panel. This now one is favourite map to cast, watch, or analyse, Henry.
I love Cash simply for the reason it's got so many options on the CT side and T side for fast and aggressive plays. CTs can push B storage like we saw earlier today. You can have like 4 players into towards the B storage on the pistol or push the squeaky door. AWPers are really prevalent and it's a really exciting map in my opinion. I used to love Dust 2 as well. I'm not sure what you guys think about that, but it was one of my favourite maps to play and cast.
I don't think you can not be a Counter-Strike fan and
Yeah,
not
like-
like Dust
oh,
at some point.
I
I mean, you
think
get a
it's
bit bored sometimes.
it's like love
'cause you're
or
just
hate
like,
it, right?
oh, come on, why am I... Every matchmaking game, every phases game,
Yeah.
gee, can someone pick something else? So there are times when you just go through that kind of motion of, please, I'm done. I've played it for 10 years. Can we just play something else? But for some reason, since it's been out of the map pool, I've almost missed it a bit.
Yeah, it's coming back.
It's like, please come back.
After this major, I think we'll be back.
Yeah,
So don't
yeah,
worry
we'll
about
get it
that.
back. What about you, Duncan?
I'm actually going to go with Overpass because, I mean, especially, this is one of the reasons for me as to why all these Danish teams have become so strong recently because they lead the world on that map, you know. The T side of that map is very, very tricky. It's very nuanced and it's all about, like, power dynamics of where you set up to go to the site. It's not a site that you just pick one and you go to it. You have to kind of play the other site in a way which then allows you to go to one site. And so going to either site is so different. And so there's only a few teams can pull it off. And that's also why it's very strange to me because even though you get kind of cultural similarities, for example, German teams often play very slow and methodical, that's like generally a style thing, you know. Bizarrely, these top 3 Danish teams are all among the best teams in the world on that map. They've really just like pioneered kind of the tempo you play at, how you attack. And so the fact that, it's one thing if Astralis can do it, they're one of the best teams in the world. But you go right down to Heroic, sometimes they're not even in the top 10. But you put them on Overpass against almost any team, they have a shot, So for me, it's a very special map. It's kind of a niche map, but I can really appreciate when people have kind of mastered it.
Okay. Plans aren't quite ready, so
Another one?
Can we?
They never are.
Yeah, can we dip in one more? Can we grab one more social media question? We can. Is the UMP still viable for seating?
Yes. Definitely.
Absolutely,
The nerf
isn't it?
didn't do much at all.
I don't
for me.
even understand that, do I?
I mean, we discussed it a little bit yesterday
Yeah,
privately,
so-
and we were saying, because I was saying to you, would you have preferred them to not have nerfed it at all long range, but actually reduce the kill reward for it?
Yes, exactly. So I don't think that nerf was even required. That was the wrong way to approach it. In my opinion, all you have to do, obviously it's kind of not perfect, but I'm saying you increase the value of the gun, so it goes up to $1,800 to buy it, and you take the kill reward down to the standard $300, right? So that means that you have to make the decision. When you have $2,000 and your teammates have said a couple of M4s, you can't say, oh, don't worry, I'm going to buy UMP and armor on the CT side. We don't need head armor right here. I've got a full buy, essentially. I can join you on this battle. If you have to have $1,800 and you have to make a choice, okay, I won't have armor, I won't have utility here. This is actually still a really tricky situation. The gun's too cheap, it's too powerful right now, still 100% viable with its little nerf. I think we still buy... We don't I thought we'd see more of the FAMAS since that nerf came in.
Yeah.
Haven't really. No. Sometimes in the second round instead of an M4, but overall, yes, and it still is a massive issue. They can't change it now before the major.
Yeah.
It is what it is. But
I mean, increasing it to
hopefully-
1,800, reducing the kill reward, that brings the FAMAS back in
That
as
definitely
well,
does,
doesn't it?
because then you're thinking, right, okay, I need the extra range here. It's not the kill reward is the main thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what makes it such a tantalizing weapon, is you can actually farm cash and go aggressive just to kill unarmored players and run around and make the money back you've paid for that weapon instantaneously in one round, which just,
I mean, we
that
saw it
breaks the game,
on
really.
Cash where there were some short range positions. I mean, for instance, right out in the open on B where you just go, it's a bit risky, but actually at short range, at that kind of range where all three of them come through the door.
You need 2 kills with the weapon, right? to
Exactly,
pay
and
off
it's
the
paid off.
deaths.
Yeah.
So it's nuts.
Yeah, and they picked up 3. All right, interesting. We're going to get more from both of our members of the panel after our second game. As we head into it, Dignitas taking the lead in the first one. Can Big make a comeback? Let's find out with our commentary team.
Can Big make a comeback?
On Inferno, yeah, definitely. I
I
think
think
so.
I agree with that. I think Dignitas definitely struggled yesterday. Another situation where I don't really like their CT setup. A lot of gaps in it. They left Arch side open a lot. It's like they said on the desk. It's not like you can fix things overnight. It is really hard to throw a 5-man together and just expect it to work right away. So this will take time to develop, but it is something that is pretty easy to identify. It's hard to identify the exact way to fix it. I suggested bringing Tensky over to A. He's a little more passive. You can be a little more safe in that position, and then getting someone with Jacob who can be a little more aggressive. I would assume Ravino would be the one that I would choose, but we'll see. We'll see. That's my thoughts. What are yours, Harry?
Well, I mean, when we saw them play versus LDLC yesterday, they did look good, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I thought like it was a breath of fresh air into how they were playing. And they did switch their setup up just a little bit, and they kind of remedied some of the problems we were speaking about. It wasn't necessarily perfect, and I do agree with you about your idea of bringing Tensky over towards A.
Just whether or not it's Tensky brought over or not, the reason I say to do it is because they need someone to complement Jacob, and they don't take banana control. They'll stack it up with 3 players. They won't get a first pick. They'll hesitate to rotate off early. If you want to get Fox there, that's fine. Send the 3rd player back over toward Arch once it's established. But if you're going to put 3 there, at least contest for banana control, because they were giving it to them and then pretty much leaving the entire map wide open.
Yeah, well, let's see anyway. Can Big have their comeback here on their map pick? Already going to be charging up Banana. Untamed aggression. Tensky, the man to try and tame it, will be forced back. 3 players for Dignitas with inside the B-bomb site. Perfect if Big do remain as dedicated as they are right now. I mean, look at the aggression from Fox down mid. So much information gained. They're boxed in. Already 4 players on the rotate. They have to be careful about their behind as well. Chroman within the site. Haven't been able to deal with him. They're walking into just a barrage of gunfire. It's looking terrible here. Legia trying to do what he can. Finds himself a 1v4. Is able to get 1, but then traded out swiftly by Rubino. And if anything, if that's anything to go by, Dignitas, I mean, that was a nice idea there in that pistol round.
Yeah, I mean, sure. You can't really read pistol rounds versus defaults and tactics, though. So it's worth taking a gamble to get into where B. We know it's a tight choke point. Teams often like to rush it down. Works out for them. They get the crossfire set up. But now Legia onto a scout. Going to force buy-in on the big side. No pawn plans either, so this is an aggressive force, all things considered. And they'll get... So this is it. 3-man setup. Now, again, we're up against pistols, so we're a little early to tell. But a three-man setup does mean they have to at least rotate one player back, so it's Rubino that goes all that way around. Good news I like actually this time, though, is Croman was playing Pit. On the rotation from Rubino, he's actually staying arch side. They're going to put Rubino. So they have made one adjustment on A. That's one thing to note. If that continues into the gun rounds, maybe that's a trend we can keep an eye on, because a lot of the problem wasn't even that they didn't rotate someone. It was that they were late doing it, and in being late, they left arch open. So this is potentially, because Croman's never gone over to support at B. So that's one way they could shut it down if they're going to leave Fox or Rubino to the pit instead.
Look at this from Big, though. They've rotated players background. Going to be heading in up through mid. Tabson in apartments. He's here alone, but it looks like the bomb going to wrap back round to try and join him. Looking like Big have their sights firmly fixed on A, at least for the time being. There's only 40 seconds left. Rubino going to be the main point of contention, for these guys. Going to be holding it off. Spotting out towards short, has got Fox to try and help him out. Pop flash comes through, and now we see if this hold is going to be firm enough. And while Rubino flicking between the two, goes ahead and gets them both, drops the bomb out in the open, trying to get more done, helps out Croman best he can. But it's Fox to go ahead and get one. Rubino just raining death from Pit with the 4K. Fantastic stuff on his part. Boatloads of damage done. I think if you looked at it, he probably would have had about 400 ADR in that round. Just fantastic from him.
400 ADR is definitely fantastic, but another good play from Dignitas to hold off and deny a bomb plant from Big, so they'll have to sit back, as we mentioned. They'll get into the 3-round bonus and be fine in the standard gun round, as always. And they go into the rifles with 2 SMGs for Fox and Jacob. So this is where Jacob can afford to actually be a little more aggressive, and they're going to. I like that. Good. If you use the lose, words are very hard for me these days. The SMGs, it's not the big problem. So perfect call. You've got Fox still on an SMG. You've got Jacob still on an SMG. You want Fox to get the reinvestment from the money so he can get toward the AWP. So they push both of them down, and very aggressively. Look at Jacob. He's already at alt middle. This is a perfect play, SMG. I love it. Good call. Great call, Dignitas.
Yeah, now, trying to turn things around. Only with the Glock in his pocket. Fox on his heels, just down beneath him. Here's the Glock rallying shots on through, and then finishes him off. Got B. 1v5 with the Glock. It will be probably one of his best plays. No, it's not meant to be. Croman finishes him off. They take very little damage, even in terms of HP. Nothing done in terms of the economy. And I don't see them buying up into this one. I imagine it's going to be a round that they try and take for free. No need to invest. They keep everyone alive in that previous round. Big, going to be buying down. They've got themselves rifles.
But here's the test. If you're going to not, and you're going to play the bonus round, be aggressive again. Get those SMGs. One of the things we never saw them do either, I criticize them for Banana because that's the most obvious, but we never really saw them try and contest apartments or boiler. Virtus Pro has a very cool strategy for that, or used to. God knows what strategies they have these days. Pushing into boiler by getting one up in toward the halls, and in this case they're going to do it. Croman in toward the boiler stairwell, so they can actually be up close, give them nothing at top mid. They're able to hear everything, and they don't allow anyone to come through aggressively and get an execution position, which, to be fair, yesterday Maniac was able to do a few times against them by sneaking out apartments and no one was watching it. Perfect setup. Tabson can't go anywhere. Fox is able to take Lakia. Exactly what they need to do. This looks like a much better start already than what we saw from any of the rounds Dignitas played on this map.
Got beat. Going to be the one making his way up in towards Apps. We saw him try and pull this off last time with just the Glock. Now he's got the AK. Has to try and find some sort of equalizer, but Rubino going to go ahead and put him down. A 2v5 to ensue. Keevan next. Backs against the wall, quite literally over in mid. As they make their way now over at long. Rubino holding the angle. For the first time, we see someone actually in a position to try and hold Arch. And look at the push coming up from Banana. In through mid on the flank behind. Their time is very limited on this earth.
Okay, so Jacob's realized it. I was going to say, the one thing that would actually be kind of funny in this situation is because they had so much information from Fox, they all rotated out of Banana, and Rubino thought, okay, well, you guys are close, I'll back off, but they left Arch open. So imagine if they just ran through CT, but Jacob realizes it goes back that direction to make sure there was no chance they were going to get a bomb plant out of this, which is perfect. They shut it down, they only lose one. Again, played the bonus round. Look at the money. Massive already. Fox has over 10K. Here comes the AWP. I expect, maybe not because they're against pistols. Maybe he wants to wait one more. Okay, fair enough. I'll give him the AK. So I'm all for it.
And this is what I mean, right? The Dignitas CT side is looking far better. You say you can't fix stuff overnight, but they've made some serious improvements, I think.
I don't even think that they did switch the one at pit, so they've definitely talked about it. I think Rubino, I could hear them outside talking yesterday about how they wanted to play short. I didn't quite catch the whole conversation, but this is almost a mentality shift as well because they're getting more aggressive. So again, they're going to go 3 to B here. Tensky's already at barrels, deep smoke, Jacob looking like he's going to push. That's something they never did yesterday. Instantly as a result as well, Croman gets a little more aggressive at top mid, so if they do rush onto A, they can back off, they can slow them down with utility instead of being super passive, where they gave up Arch almost every single round yesterday. It's much better. It's just more thought out. Everyone's kind of on the same page of what they want to do. Yesterday it was like they had about 2 different ideas, but they never used them in the same time, and it never worked out. So Croman, good play, backs off again, good positioning. Next gets one, but through the flames they go, and Croman's back in the pit. This is done already. Another good round.
Yeah, Next just being teased here with bullets raining on it. It's going to go down, and that's Dignitas 5-0 right now. And I feel like, Big coming into this, you go to Inferno if you're Big, because it is a good map for them. And also, I imagine you see that Dignitas have looked fairly shaky on it thus far throughout this event. But I think when we saw them in LDLC, there were serious signs of improvement. Since then, it's gotten even better. And as you said, they kind of plays onto Badana, something that we didn't see. I feel like they somewhat even a little bit inspired from the games we saw them have, for example, versus Penta. Similar strategies were run there. And now we're seeing that actually being picked up by Dignitas. Same again, 3 players over here towards B. This does leave you vulnerable for an A rush, but the second you get the players on there and actually get them pushed down, it's such a strong position.
Ooh. Okay, good. Rubino is going to rotate. The issue is that time Fox peeked mid with an M4, excuse me. He couldn't quite get vision, but he spotted 2 players going in toward Banana, and it looked like they were going to stay at B, thinking there was going to be a rush, which would have been similar to the problems yesterday, predicated on some miscall, but you have to give up Banana this time. They couldn't fully go down on top of it because there was 1 player through the smoke on the inside, so they back off, but they've got Fox playing aggressively at Arch with no one with him. This is a bit of a risk from him. So how does Fox approach this? Timer on the play as well. That smoke dissolves. Gobby's waiting, perfectly positioned. He's got about 5 seconds to make a decision, and he's going to go aggressive, caught off by Tabson. There's really not a need for Fox to do so. No one else is playing aggressively toward middle, so now he's down. Rubino's in the site. We're back to the Arch side open again.
And that same vulnerability going to shine on through. Whether or not Big will exploit it, curious to see. If they had been watching these games, they would know that would have been a reoccurring issue of Dignitas in these scenarios. That smoke goes out. Going to be for Library. This is setting them up to wrap through. And that does look to be what they perhaps wanted to. It's still looking unsure. Instead, they're going to turn their attention out towards A. There's very little time left. No time to wrap. Croman forced out in the open. Takes the peek from pit a bit unnecessarily. Rubino in the site trying to buy time. That's all he can do. Keep them off the site. He's doing actually a lot of damage. Overstays his welcome and somehow gets 2. That could be the difference maker here. Tensky and Jacob. Next is the one for Big you want to be keeping an eye on. He's worked his way into the back line up in apps. He's actually now going to opt to play things passively along with the team. I like this. If he'd gone aggressive and had been taken down, because Dignitas are going to be checking all these angles, it would have been put back into a 2-on-2. So now, as Dignitas try to take short, Gobby going to be the one that they run into first. Tensky checking the site. Time ticking away. They have to try and be fast, and Gobby now pounces out Jacob. Not even sure if he's going to even attempt this now. 1v3. Unless he finds a frag in the next few seconds.
All he's going to do at this point is try and keep them close enough to the bomb that he gets some kills at the end. So good kill from Godby because they've got enough money. Him just sticking around, if he can wound some up so they can't survive the bomb blast, if he keeps them close enough that they lose the guns, it's a win for him. So that was all Jacob was really after at that point in time. So they buy back in. A bit of worrying sign. I really don't know what Fox was playing at the top of middle by himself, especially with a smoke down. He has no information. His teammates are already back, and that's kind of what we saw yesterday, where they weren't really on the same page. There was some ideas, but people backing off, giving up map control while someone else wanted to do something completely different. You have to decide as a unit, especially on Inferno, where there's so many open positions that the T's can capitalize on, especially on the A side. Top mid, pushing them back, getting the map control, execution. We know the smokes are more viable in this version of Inferno as well toward the pit, so Croman has more of a difficult time. Same thing, he goes down and Rubino's left sitting nowhere to go.
This round, though, Fox actually looks like he wants to go aggressive on Banana. Having him here with the AWP, you can see how strong that is. It's allowed Tensky to rotate back over towards A. Big, well, they've got 5 players pushing on in. Bomb going to be picked up by the late Kiev. Rest of the guys ready to push on in at a moment's notice, just waiting outside the site. There's 1 minute and 5 seconds left. They're not too pressured for time. They've got Tensky on Dignitas' time to actually watch that arch side. I mean, you can tell with this setup, they've left it open now, playing it more passively on the inside, and that's Tensky's role. If he leaves, that's when problems get created. But as long as he's there, Dignitas are looking fine and big. Well, like it was going to be A originally, now starting to rotate back. You need Fox to step up in this situation. He has to at least get one and then fall on back. He's going to go ahead and get it. Going to look to try and keep the aggression up. Might overstay as well. Quinn doesn't want to risk it, looking like he could fade away. Tensky nearly rotates off, but now making his way back on over. Not followed up by anything. Big. Looking like they're going to make their way out towards A.
So it's Jacob in the pit this time, which is a major difference because they will put Fox on the AWP and B. I haven't seen them over here once. Double up in pit as well, which is very good because crossfires are set. Add that to a triangle with Rubino in the sight, rather, excuse me, Croman in the sight, but spray down. Croman's going to get one, Rubino gets the other. Good adjustment, and it's all due to the fact that they can anchor off B with the AWP, and now they've got almost a perfect start to the half because they get 5 rounds. In comes the reset. Boom, hit them again with another one. By the way, yet to be a bomb plant, aside from the round that they won. So when they are winning Dignitas, they're shutting them down entirely. Tensky, for note, oddly enough, only has 1 kill in this. So you're seeing that the players, the factors, the aggressive players finding picks early. If Tensky's getting kills, it's usually because they're getting closer to the B site. Croman's having a heck of a game.
It's just a shooting gallery for Fox over in mid. They want to try and wrap this one up without losing anyone. Keep building up the money on the CT side for Big. Looking like it's going to be a fast round. Saying that, taking the tag early on to God B, and now more recently Keeve over towards Banana could slow this down. Fox holding the angle up close with the AWP. Going to fall on back. In towards the site. Good read on that. Doesn't want to be up close when these pistols do make their way in. Plenty of utility still left on this A-bomb site to try and hold back this push. And when you look at Big, they've got nothing. Just going into this one. Borderline naked. Rubino and Fox between them get themselves too leggy. Spotted out in the open this round. Over in the blink of an eye. Clean, calculated, and a great round from Dignitas.
Yeah, and you called that. It was a good call. I think Rubino likely made that call to go back as well because they had a second player over toward Arch, or a third player, I guess, including both of them, to watch top of middle. They had no information. If they push through middle, they can still get damage in from that player alone, and there's no need risking the AWP. And if they had to come out of apartments where Rubino was watching, they lose either of those fights. The pistols will overwhelm them, and they get a bomb plant at the very least. So, good passive call. That's the right time to do it. Looking much more organized. Continuing on, it's going to be Fox again in the AWP. Croman's going to push while he tries to AWP, and they're going to rush in toward Banana on this. A hard reset, still no money, and they're funneling them in. This is perfect. Night and day. What a very different Dignitas team we're seeing. This I'm impressed by. After yesterday, mid-game, I'm not joking, I literally WhatsApped Henry G and said, this is the worst. In fact, I said a little bit more worse, more choice language, a little more colorful. I said, this is the worst CT side I've ever seen on Inferno. So this is much better.
No, I mean, I can vouch for how tilted you are. Were.
Were.
I mean, it's in your personality a little bit, but yeah, no, definitely were at the end of that one. And Dignitas now looking like an entirely almost refurbished team. I mean, fantastic stuff from them. The nade damage onto Banana just then was phenomenal. The round was over before it even began, and you had Croman. The aggression down through mid, something that we didn't see. There was no remedy to any of these problems. I mean, if this happened, yesterday, for example, when we saw them play, or the day before, it would have been a completely different story. That pistol rush into B would have probably worked.
At the same time, you have to start looking at Big. To try and slow this down and get picks, to try and thin out the defense and get rotations, because a lot of times they are going for the execution. They're trying to find the fast plays. So for all the good reasons and good things Dignitas are doing, Big are playing into it in a lot of ways. So this time they'll go back toward Boiler. 3-man stack on quad. So a boost again, aggressive. Jacob's going to wrap around, make sure that they don't come out the apartments. And with Fox once more, AWP in Banana with information that he's been given this time, they'll rotate Tensky. So they are playing all the problems, literally. Banana, thanks very much. First pick again, thanks very much. Big has to find a way to get the opening kill, at the very least, in reverse of what I would say. Normally Dignitas gives them that, they've got to fight back to get it because they haven't had it at all. Setup's perfect from Dignitas based on just a single AWP positioning of Fox.
This time, Big, they've gone 2 men down once again. Precisely what you're saying. They're always losing these opening duels, and And they even struggle to get trades on the back of it. It's not like you see the frag go the way of Dignitas and immediately someone's there from Big, as we're used to go ahead and trade it back. It is just kill picked up, Dignitas run away, and then just get out traded on these pushes. So the 3-on-5, Big, going to be waiting for this smoke to dissipate. As it starts to fade, now they're going to push on through. Croman in Boiler, spots the first, goes for the pre-fire, more walk out to his crosshair, and it was looking like it was just going to be the farm up for him. Over towards Boiler, Jacob takes up his position and gets revenge for his fallen comrade. That is going to be Dignitas making their way forward. Onto a 9th. Big, no money again. It seems a bit hopeless at this point. I was really hoping for a bit more from these guys. And either we're going to see them have the most spectacular CT side half and pull this back as we saw on Mirage. Because if not, I'm really not faring their odds too highly after this. I don't see a way that Dignitas could possibly lose this round. Big presumably going to be investing to about $2,000, but really there's very little they could get into that. So let's just say that they do win it. I see it being, it's 10-1 at that point. Really, you need at least 5 rounds, so Big would have to win it out to the end of the half.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to put numbers on things. As you can see, especially at this level, there's a lot of fundamental mistakes that are made. Teams can capitalize on, but you're right. To give themselves a chance, I'd say 4 rounds is somewhat doable. Back to pistols again. Economy just brilliant the whole round through. They're going to go for a 3-man push toward Banana once more. Big's going to go up toward alt middle. Tabson and Legia going to try and take apartments, which if they can put Fox push down, especially Kiev, getting Fox off dropped. If Croman gets caught out inside the apartments, now they have a problem, and Tensky can't push through that smoke at the bottom of mid, so Jacob has to rotate around.
Good round here from Big thus far. Haven't been able to retrieve the AWP over middle, but they are trying. There you go. It's going to be back on Kiev. That one smoke they picked up, throwing in to try and block off the player in pit.
Fox didn't really need to push that.
No, not at all.
They didn't have a lot of information from an end. They called they didn't see anyone, but that doesn't necessarily mean there's not someone at T-stairs where he was, so... Bit of a misread.
Next, stands in that Molotov for an uncomfortable amount of time. Tagged down to 30 HP. Damage is being done to Big, but the AWP on Kiev, that's the scary factor. He doesn't need armor. Aim Punch is going to play into this, but he is the sort of player that could make this work, and they'll actually be doubling back. Now over towards Banana. Tensky's here alone. He's playing this forward anchor roll. Peeks on out, finds the first. Now he has to pull back. Doesn't need to overextend, but okay, Tensky going to prove me wrong. Gets himself a second. Really now I would like to see him leave, and there we go. Tab's able to pick that one up. On 8 HP in the 1v3, it's not looking fantastic. He does have the bomb. And I think he's just going to make the decision to save really in this scenario. Doing damage now in the 1v2. Now we might see him try... No, there's no time. Never mind. What am I on about? Just a save.
Keep this up. We might be done in time to watch the start of the 24-hour of Le Mans. So round done. Tabson at least does carry over the AWP that was dropped out early from Fox.
Counter-terrorists win.
And they'll be able to force up around that as well with Tabson keeping that in. They'll get pretty much a full buy, so Keith should be grateful that they have that weapon. See if it costs them. That would be karma for the overextension. Gobby's looking a little bit annoyed. What are we doing? I mean, they do look a little bit lost. They aren't... For all the good things Dignitas are doing, which I'm highlighting because we've kind of had a storyline of an unsuccessful CT half. Big's not really doing much at all, and this time they will contest Banana, but it's 3 players there. Smoke out again, and a nade stack down. They're absolutely winning at every facet. More apartment pressure, which is what they're going to go for. Croman's in a world of problems. This is opened up. So if they're going to continue to be aggressive on B, that's fine, but they don't have to double it up with aggression on A as well. You can funnel the offense, you can control them, and set the crossfire. So they're getting a little bit zealous over on the B site, or excuse me, on the A site.
Yeah, rotates have come in. Tensky down from Banana, going to be the one wrapping around from behind. Dignitas, though, for the first time in a long time, playing this one with them at disadvantage. They're the guys on the clock. Going to try and employ, I imagine, potentially a boost over the smoke. And okay, that doesn't pan out. Tabson, quick on the trigger, drops them both out of the equation. Now it's Tensky has himself the AK. The hunt comes in from Tabson, who goes ahead and takes 4. Nearly the ace. And Big, now they get themselves a second. This could be the start of them getting the ball rolling. Alternatively, it could be the start of a the road to ruin for their economy. But that shows some promise. I mean, they very quickly identified that, okay, if they've thrown that many nades down from B, then clearly they've gone light on A. And then the aggression coming out as well was completely unnecessary on the A bomb. So that's something I do agree with you on. I think Dignitas, they get punished for it. It's a big, clearly are punishing Dignitas if they make the mistakes. Dignitas is not really making all that many just yet.
So Kiev this time gets in position on the AWP, but again, the deep smoke comes out, tries to pre-fire it. Tensky gets to the half wall. Jacob seems like he wants to rotate early, but he's going to leave Tensky on the ground. I might try to go for a boost on that, put him on the half wall, and then back off, because then Tensky just gets that extra split second that he can get the edge on them. But good rotation choice, because they are out the top middle. Rubino in the site again, but they've got control of Arch, which means Fox can rotate back now that Jacob's arrived. And it's all under control with Croman winning the first pick.
Now, Tensky jump peeking here. I agree with you. The boost would have come in handy. The smoke goes down. Full on back as a result.
Problem now, mid-smoke came into it. There's a timer on that for Tensky, and they had two players watching the same position in Rubino and Jacob, so it's good to see him rotate off and lead this. Because they didn't have any information as to where they were. They have to keep themselves spread enough. With only 4 on the T side, but it's Inferno. If you can catch the rotations off, you can still take sites, and the retakes are extremely tough, as we know.
In the back line, Legia could be the one to make all the difference. Catch these guys rotating off A. The rest of the team turning their attention in towards this B site. Jacob's here. Tensky as well. Jacob isn't looking too healthy. He really is to get one for this to be worth it. And the Fountain is a position that I always think is very far forward. Legia pounces out on Rubino, closes out that man advantage, and actually going to make rotating extremely difficult. Means these guys within the site are under that much more pressure. Good damage done, and now Tensky steps up. It all falls onto Kiev. There's so little time left. He has to first deal with the player in the site, and Tensky just making that difficult. The no-scope comes in, shuts him out, and now it's the 1v2. Kiev in with the bomb plant. He's tagged down so low through the smoke. Croman to finish the triple. As Dignitas pick themselves up.
Denying the bomb plant is significant as well, because that leaves them all at 3,100. They would have been right around 4K and had a full buy. So they're hindered. Yeah, and they've got to go to pistols. That's huge. That's massive that he gets that through the smoke. Good shot, Kiev. But really good job, Jacob and Tensky, each getting a kill before they go down. Especially Jacob, 14 HP. Equaling the trades on the way through. End of the round on its own. Even with Legia getting the first player on rotation, Croman flashed himself back in and took the fight. Fox down middle. Aggressive. He gets Legia. Next is on the only AK-47. Fox last time he contested against pistols did go down there, if you remember. So it's Tensky to find Kiev, but they're all things under control.
Tensky's got aggressive down banana as well. This is more aggression than Bigger used to. Got to be able to drop out Fox. Gobby got himself the AWP to play with next as this AK over to short. And Gobby coming around, looking to try and make the name of himself on the AWP. But here comes the peak from Croman. Has to try and stay alive. He's buying time for the rotates to come through. Dropping that bomb has allowed Tensky just to come rushing up through mid, bounding into the back line of Big. Jacob here as well. Bomb plant coming in. Next able to get that down. Gobby. Up here by long now, flanking in from short, looking to try and come up from behind. Next goes down, it's all on Gobby. We've seen him clutch some fantastic stuff on Mirage. This time has to try and do it on Inferno. Bomb defuse coming on through, and he's going to get caught in the fire and flames. Jacob to finish that one off. Big are definitely looking better in these last couple of rounds. They've come a hell of a lot closer, but Dignitas winning them both out. Going to take it 12-2 now. Big need this next round to get them out the danger zone, or else the pistol solely decides their fate.
This isn't like, by the way, I want to state this as well, because credit where credit is due. This isn't just Dignitas suddenly clicking. This isn't just falling into place. This was a conscious decision to evaluate the issues they were having, and I have to give credit to Rubino, because like I said, I heard him outside talking about this, but they've clearly gone home to the hotel last night. I call it home because basically where I live these days, and made the adjustments required, and it's showing, so hats off, because that's hard to do on the fly, and they've certainly done it. Fox again down mid, tags up Kiev, and then they'll fall back because they've got the utility down. They've got control of the situation. If Fox in the AWP, he can easily play the arch angle by himself. We see that all the time. It's a great spot to be in. This is good too, because now it's down Jacob. They've pulled the rotation over. Fox gets the first kill. This is where was this yesterday? This is so much better. From 0 out of 10 yesterday to like 9 out of 10. I'm not going to go 10 out of 10, but 9 out of 10.
Yeah, people say you're harshest critic. You are your own harshest critic, but in Dignitas' case, it's Matt.
Yep, that's true.
The two-man advantage now for Dignitas. Both these players for Big, incredibly isolated from one another. And you're going to see Legia look to try and meet up with Nex. Smoke is down on B. Tensky on the other side. Goes in for the spray. Now they know he's here. As the shots rally back through, you can see that instills the confidence for Fox to rotate. And look at this push from Croman. This is the real difference maker. Joining him is going to be Rubino. Tensky just tapping away on heads. And now it's just Legia with this AWP. 1v4 in the smoke. Going to rub barrels with Fox. And okay, trying to stay alive, but Fox shuts him down. 13-2, Dignitas. A fantastic CT side. And as you said, it's night and day from the previous performances we've seen.
Yeah, and again, I highlight that for all the good reasons, but I also have to point out Big for being quite lackluster in their takes. They themselves were not using utility to push the CTs back when they knew the trades were unfavorable, when they could, try and knock them off the top mid position. Had to contest Banana a little bit more because at one point it went from Big struggling, even still being hesitant to take over Banana to just constantly saying, all right, Jacob, run down. Like they're not going to be there, which makes it so much easier to rotate back. Fox was there with the AWP. At least do something. If you're going to bleed out time in the round, at least do something to bleed that utility off the B player. So even if he's still in Banana or in the B site, you've got to rotate someone around to give him support, and that's when you start to create the movement and weaknesses, and they didn't really do any of that. So it was a tale of two halves as Tensky starts off this one with Gob B and Fox getting the kills with 13 rounds. We could be done quite quickly if this goes this way.
Yeah, this push could continue from Tabson, but no, Fox up close. He takes them both. The burst fire with the Glock to round that one off. Key falls within a Dignitas now. 14-2. They win out the pistol in that second half. Fantastic stuff. The anti-eco comes in big. They have to force buy from now to the end of the game if they want to keep themselves in this. Of course, if Dignitas win, they will beat the second team making it through to the major qualifier, getting that spot. There's still one left to play for when all is said and done.
Yeah, 2 rounds and they're into the major qualifier, which, look, this was a good job to identify it and come to the fundamentals. They're not going to improve this much over every single night, let's be honest, but they've got some time now to reset if they get these 2 rounds into the qualifier, which I think this is a team that with time will have a decent peak level, have a good potential to be sort of a backside of the top 10 spoiler kind of team. So I'm excited for that reason alone. There's a world where I could definitely see them in the major. Fox, good entry, takes down Legia. Tatson, self-boost though, getting one and drops off, changes the angle, could find another headshot, but Tensky's not going to be fooled. Or foiled as the bomb comes toward Banana, but watch the push toward alt mid. The bomb could have been caught quite quickly there. Colby was in position with an AK that could have easily foiled everything that time.
Kiva next, both on the site. Keith peeks out. Next is tagged down so low, and Gob B, the one player with that rifle, trying to make his way on round. Bomani just going down, does leave Big with a bit of time. I'm curious to see the decision making into this round. It looks like they're going to try and go for it. Both players stacked up on the site. They've got a good bit of time to work with. They have to try and find an entry quickly. As they peek on it, Gob B, very, very careful on the angle. Tensky now peeks on out, can't be able to find the burst, tries to get more work done. Next falls, but Gob B, the clutch king, gets himself 2. Croman brings Dignitas to match point, 15-2. I was hoping Gob B, we could have seen another just incredible feat from him, and it just wasn't meant to be.
When Gob B's the guy that has to step up in most of these situations,
yeah,
know you're having an off game, you're struggling. Tabson's got 10 kills. He's the top of the leaderboard with 10 kills. When was the last time, even in a bad game, we saw Tabson not at least have a round or 2 where he dominated? Things are just not clicking at all.
One of the 2 rounds they did get, he got the 4K in. So he has had the round that he dominated, but that's the only really round they got. This time, aggression down mid. Oh my goodness, damage done. This round looks like it could go the way of Big. And somehow Fox is going to leave himself in the 1v3, but no, there we go.
Fair enough. Nade stack. Throw a Hail Mary in and it works. They get aggressive. Big. I'll give it to them. What else are you going to do in that situation? Dignitas walked straight into it. No harm, no foul. They've got 12 more rounds that they can sit back and enjoy the lead with. 2 SMGs bought up. Not really a need for it, but again, 12 rounds.
I just can't wait to hear the guys on the desk try and rationalize this one. 15-3 right now. Dignitas one away. Fox has been tagged down very low early on. Next. Oh, the spray's looking uneasy, but he does pull through. In the blink of an eye, it's all on Jacob. 1v4. Bomb isn't going to be picked up. Instead, trying to find something. Peeks out mid, spots Keeve, and Nex is looking like he wants to rotate in to help, but Keeve gets the job done on his own. Dignitas using these two on the back of that Hail Mary play down mid from Big, but now this is going to allow Big to potentially reach themselves a fifth. I mean, they should, right? No buy can come in from Dignitas in this one. They can't buy up into the next. So 15-5, at least making it more respectable. Overtime still a possibility, right?
You're so young. It's kind of cute.
I'm trying to remain optimistic, okay?
I used to do that.
And then just the crushing, harsh reality
and then
of
Counter-Strike
life.
took over my life. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. There we go.
I think they're pulling a bit of an existence. Sitting back in spawn, maybe just talking it over, relaxing. It's like resting and relaxing at the same time. I do love my compound words. So nothing to report. They're already down banana and down middle by the time they leave spawn, so let this one run. Is Croman even in the server still?
Yeah, he is. I think they're just talking it through. He was actually trying to spot the hidden PGL camera that flies over the...
Oh, yeah, the thing that's totally invisible.
Yeah, that one.
I get it. That's wise.
Here we go, this one. See? Couldn't quite catch it. Yeah, 15-5. Big. I'm going to go ahead and get themselves a couple, but now Dignitas in with the chance to buy. Their grace period has ended here for Big, and this is where the going gets tough. They've got the AWP up on Keeve, rifles across the board for Dignitas. Good bit of utility, a little bit limited on a couple of these players, Tensky, Rubino, and Jacob. One round away. 3 players up alt mid. 2 waiting over towards their aggression. Down Banana coming in very early on from Tabson, but he's been isolated from Legia. If the peak came in now, it could be devastating.
Tabson taking Fox. So decent start again to get the opening pick. A trade by Tensky, which forces a double rotation back to B, because if they pushed on that, they would have already taken down Legia, and Keeve gets in position as well. Rubino, Jacob, and Croman getting toward the apartments. This is more what Big needed to do. If they could find even a trade, slow it down. Force the CTs to use everything. There's 3 smokes left. The good news is they've got Legia with the smoke down in the bottom side of Banana, so he'll be fine to cover this off, so they can at least get a rotation back to A. But the more time that goes by, more favorable this becomes for Dignitas.
It's all eyes on Legia. Dignitas, they're fixated on B. They have to be worried that he could be here. They're not going to check it. Legia could step up, but no, the pressure gets to him. He does damage, but that's it. Keeves rotated around with the AWP, has to step up, gets himself 1. Pulls us back into a 3-on-3. Rotate's already going to be arriving from Big. They're not out of this round just yet. Bomb plant comes in. Utility to shut them out of the site.
Desperate for Keeve. He's got to wait for the rotations. That all comes down to Legia falling, and the last smoke gone. They can't put one on the defuse. Got a kid on Keeve. Low HP, but Dignitas are going to take this at 2 on... hang on.
Yeah.
Maybe a shadow of a doubt. Still not a full doubt, but a shadow of one as Keeve back exposed goes down to Tensky. And hats off to Dignitas. Massive improvement. They deserve that 2-0. They definitely deserve Inferno, and they should be happy with themselves on that. They'll go through to the major qualifier as well as our upper bracket final.
And I think that's incredibly well deserved. I think it was a very nice storyline watching them progress, seeing them come into this as, a team that hadn't really had the most amount of time to actually practice, especially when you compare them to the likes of Big. So, I think it's a really nice